A 72-year-old Amish woman named Ruth farms half an acre in Lancaster County. Last summer, her neighbor 2 fields over lost his entire tomato crop to aphids. Ruth's were untouched. They farm the same county. The same insects fly through the same air. Ruth has not purchased a pesticide bottle in 31 years. Why? For 11 years I sprayed. Different labels, same result, kill the aphids in July, back in August. Neem oil, copper fungicide, diatomaceous earth. Every spring a new product, every fall a bottle half empty in the trash. The problem was never the spray. The problem was what I was doing to the garden before the aphids arrived. The pesticide was not treating the problem. It was eliminating the one thing that would have solved it permanently. There is one positioning mistake almost every gardener makes when they try companion planting that cancels the entire system. And there is one product most gardeners apply once a season that destroys a balance. It will take a full year to rebuild. Both of those have a direct biblical answer, and both have been practiced without interruption in Lancaster County since before anyone alive today was born. June morning in Lancaster County. Ruth walks her beds before 7. She moves slowly, she favors her right knee, but she covers every row. Between her tomatoes, a line of garlic. Between her cabbages, a line of chives. At each corner of each bed, a clump of dill just reaching flower. She stops at a tomato plant, flips a leaf, checks the underside, moves on. No spray marks anywhere. She hasn't needed any in 3 decades. Numbers 11. 5 records exactly what the Israelites maintained in Egypt. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt that cost nothing. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. These were not grown in clean monoculture rows. Ancient Israelite gardens were never monocultures. Archaeological documentation from the Satov Living History Farm confirms that irrigated plots divided into 5 by 5 square sections were mixed plantings alliums between every crop, herbs along every edge, every allium plant serving double duty as food and barrier. Call this the invisible fence. When allium plants grow between other crops, they release volatile organic compounds into the surrounding air. Pest insects locate their host plants by scent from distances up to 20 feet. When garlic grows 6 inches from a tomato plant, the garlic's VOC signal overwhelms the tomato's scent signature. The pest cannot locate the host. It keeps searching. It moves on. No plant was killed. No compound was applied. The pest simply cannot find what it came for. Think of it as signal interference. Your tomato broadcasts its location to every aphid in your yard from 20 feet away, the same way a radio tower broadcasts. Garlic growing 6 inches away jams that signal. The aphid flies through an empty frequency. What breaks this system permanently is neonicotinoid insecticide imidacloprid, clothianidin, thiamethoxam. These systemic chemicals kill aphids on contact. They also kill ladybugs, ground beetles, and parasitic wasps, the predators that would have managed the aphids naturally. The aphid population rebuilds in 2 to 3 weeks. The predator population takes a full season to recover, if it recovers at all. One application resets your biological balance to 0. The following season you have more aphids and nothing to eat them. Crush 1 garlic clove right now. Hold it 12 inches from your face. The smell is immediate and strong even at that distance. Now think about being an aphid whose entire survival depends on detecting the specific scent of a tomato plant from 20 feet away. With garlic growing 6 inches from that tomato, the aphid's sensory system is overwhelmed. The host is gone. That is the mechanism. That is Ruth's garden. And it is Numbers 11 before anyone had a name for volatile organic compounds. Plant 1 garlic clove between every 2 to 3 existing plants in your garden this week. 2 inches deep, flat end down. Not just around the perimeter between every 2 to 3 plants. That is the wall, not the fence. A perimeter border puts the garlic 4 feet from most plants. The masking mechanism requires 6 inches between every row. The mistake that cancels the system is treating garlic like a fence around the outside. That looks like protection. It isn't. The wall is the mechanism. That positioning is the difference between Ruth's garden and her neighbor's. What you experienced with that garlic clove 12 inches from your face is a fraction of what happens in the root zone of a fully planted allium. The VOCs permeate the soil. Neighboring plants absorb allicin through their root systems. The plant itself becomes repellent. The protection is not just atmospheric, it is systemic. In 2014, the IOSR Journal of Agriculture and Veterinary Science confirmed that garlic and onion plants placed near coal crops measurably reduced pest infestations. The USDA's own ATRA Sustainable Agriculture Program documents the same mechanism. Repellent allium plants release VOCs that prevent pest insects from locating host plants. The science named it in 2014. The Israelites built it into their garden design 3,000 years before that. In Holmes County, the Troyer family has farmed the same 20 acres without purchasing synthetic pesticides since 1894. 130 years. Garlic between every row, dill at every bed corner, mint at every entry point. Their beneficial insect population rebuilds itself every season without any external input. They have never experienced a pest infestation that required a purchased response. They do not call this a system, they call it planting. Proverbs 27:18 says, "Whoever tends a fig tree will eat its fruit." The Troyers tended the biology of their garden, the predator insects, the allium borders, the soil that supports beneficial organisms. The biology tends the crops. God said tend it. The Troyers did. Scientists measured the masking mechanism. Same result, 3,000 years apart. Go to your garden right now. Pick the plant that had the worst pest pressure this season. Flip 3 leaves and look at the undersides. Active aphids means start the garlic intercropping this week. Do not wait. Aphid damage with no aphids present means something already ate them. Look for ladybug larvae. Small, dark, alligator-shaped insects on the leaf surface. They are not a pest. They are the predator system already running. Clean leaves means natural balance is present. What you find tells you exactly where the biological system stands on your property today. Make 1 batch of garlic spray for any existing infestation. 4 garlic cloves, 1 quart water. Blend together. Steep 15 minutes. Strain. Apply to leaves in the morning or evening, only never midday sun. Test on 1 leaf first and wait 24 hours before the full plant. That spray handles what is already there. The planted garlic handles everything that comes after. Most people who try this stop at garlic. The garlic reduces crawling pest pressure within days. What they miss is the second component, the beneficial insect recruitment. That is where the system becomes permanent and where almost everyone quits too early. Ruth checks her dill every morning, not because she is worried, because she is reading the calendar. When the dill bolts and goes to flower, that is when the ladybugs and parasitic wasps arrive. She has watched it happen every year for 31 seasons. The flower head opens, and within 3 days there are insects on it. She does not order them. She does not attract them artificially. She plants the right plant, and they come, the way they always have. The modern pesticide industry sells a different model. Neonicotinoids are systemic. They permeate plant tissue and persist in the soil for months, long after the visible aphids are dead. The chemical is still active, killing every beneficial insect that feeds on the treated plant's nectar or pollen. The average American gardener spends $50 to $150 per season on these products. The pests return faster. Nothing remains to manage them. The following spring, the same product goes back in the shopping cart. Stand in your garden for 2 minutes. Count every ladybug, ground beetle, or hoverfly you see. 0 means chemical treatment within the last 3 weeks. Do not spray anything and give the garden 3 full weeks before starting this system. 1 or 2 means recovery has started. Protect those insects at all cost. More than 5 means you have a functioning beneficial ecosystem already running. Write that number down. It is your garden's immune system score, and it will change. Here's the full picture. This weekend, push garlic cloves 2 inches deep between every 2 to 3 plants in every existing bed, flat end down, 6 inches apart along the interior rows. Make 1 batch of garlic spray for active infestations. Next planting season, add dill to every bed corner, mint in buried containers at every garden entry point, cilantro near brassicas and tomatoes. Within 2 to 3 weeks of dill flowering, ladybugs establish on their own. In year 2, add rue at garden corners and sage near brassicas. At that point, your predator insect population outnumbers your pest population. The system maintains itself. In 10 minutes, you can push garlic cloves into the soil between every 2 to 3 plants in your current beds. In 7 days, check the underside of your most affected plants. The reduction in crawling pest pressure will be visible. In 30 days, if you planted dill at the bed corners, ladybugs will have found it. In 1 full season, without neonicotinoids, your beneficial insect count will be measurably higher than when you started. If garlic spray burns leaves, you applied it in direct sun or the concentration was too high. Dilute to 1 tablespoon per quart and apply in the morning only. If dill brought hornworms to your tomatoes, the dill had bolted, move it immediately, away from tomatoes, near cucumbers or carrots instead. Never plant dill and tomatoes together once the dill reaches 18 inches. If no beneficial insects appear after 3 weeks of dill flowering, your soil had recent chemical treatment. Stop all pesticide use and wait. The ecosystem cannot establish while systemic insecticide is still active in the soil. The Troyer's garlic has been between their rows since 1894. Their ladybug population establishes every spring without an order form. 130 years without a pesticide purchase. That is what the system produces when you let it run. I've put the complete biblical companion planting protocol into a free guide at Biblical Harvest. Every plant, its placement, its pest targets, and the 3 most common design mistakes. Link is in the description. The average American gardener spends $50 to $150 on pesticides every season and solves nothing. Ruth in Lancaster County has spent 0 on pest control in 31 years. Her beneficial insect population grows stronger with every passing season. Her garlic renews from the same bulbs year after year for free. One system requires a purchase every spring and creates dependency with every application. The other requires garlic cloves and 3 weeks of patience. After the first season, it costs nothing. After the second, it sustains itself. That is the design God built into the Israelite garden when he had them grow garlic between every crop. Genesis 1:29 says, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, every plant that repels a pest, every plant that feeds a beneficial insect, every root that releases a compound into the soil." The design was given complete. The question has never been whether it works. It is whether you trust it enough to let the spray bottle go. In the next hour, do this. Take 1 garlic bulb from your kitchen, go outside, and push 1 clove between every 2 to 3 plants in your beds. 2 inches deep, flat end down. 15 minutes. That is the entire first action. Tonight, check every pesticide bottle you own for the words imidacloprid, clothianidin, or thiamethoxam on the label. If you find any of those words, set those bottles aside. 1 application of those products resets your beneficial insect balance to 0. Tomorrow morning, count ladybugs, ground beetles, and hoverflies in your garden for 2 full minutes. Write the number down. That is your baseline. Your 1 goal this week: order 1 pound of hardneck garlic bulbs, $3 to $5 at any nursery for fall planting. That is next season's wall already paid for. And the one thing not to do right now: plant garlic only at the perimeter. A border is decoration. The wall between plants is the mechanism. Between every row. That is the difference. If this is the kind of proven system you've been looking for, subscribe to Biblical Harvest. Drop your age below if you've been gardening for over 10 years. I read every comment. Ruth in Lancaster County, half an acre. No pesticide in 31 years. Her neighbor's tomatoes died in July. Hers came through the whole season untouched. The garden doesn't need to be defended. It needs to be designed.